Yo, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Lunchline Podcast. This is, in fact, the greatest podcast that you never heard. Yeah, and I'm here with my homie, Robbie Diesel. Give it up for him. What's up? Listen, I kind of wanted to introduce you like the 96 Bulls, like Ed Guard from Flint, Michigan. Standing at 5'9" tall, weight undisclosed.
Hold on, bro. You gotta give me at least 10 and a half, 5'10" and a half.
You want 5'10" and a half?
Can I be almost?
I gotta stretch the height too.
No, because you know I had that knee surgery and that, you know.
You had like a knee, like was it like a extension surgery to make you tall?
Yeah. Knees and shin bones.
Okay, yeah. How much that set you back?
You know we'll talk about it off air.
Shit, man, I know that ain't no Obama. You got Obamacare? You got Obamacare cover that? Because I can use some Obamacare if it's doing that.
Yeah, the ACA paid for it all.
Yo, so this is my guy Robbie Diesel, man. Robbie Diesel is the founder, the owner, the creator of the Curated Culture. Rob, if you want to go ahead, I need you to plug all your socials for me, for the people, man. I need you to plug your socials for me.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So you can definitely check me out personally at Robbie Diesel on the tweets, on the Instagrams, on the Snapchats, on the TikToks. We do everything there. You can check out the site at The Curated Culture on Facebook and Instagram, or _Curated Culture on Twitter, thecuratedculture.com, youtube.com/Robbie Diesel.
So Rob is he is a very, very brilliant guy, and I don't throw that term around easily. Like, he's a very smart guy. He knows a lot of shit that I don't know. Definitely involving the tech world. So let me ask you, Rob, what inspired you to start the Curated Culture, and why the name Curated Culture?
Yeah. So I will make this as fast as possible. You know, I'm a talker. I gotta go all around the world to get to a point.
Do that.
I'll make it as quick as possible because I know everybody ain't trying to be here all day. So originally it started, me and a couple of mutual friends started a website called Nerd News because we wanted to be able to report on technology from a more digestible standpoint. You know what I'm saying? We didn't want to use a lot of real highfalutin bougie terms. We just wanted to talk about the stuff that we thought was cool, and relay it in a way that would be more interesting and easy to read and easy to understand.
Okay.
Well, 2 weeks into it, one guy dropped out, and then about 6 months into it, another guy dropped out. So it was just me. And I was running it for like 4 or 5 years. And then I finally made the decision just to go ahead. Because you know how, I mean, not you know how it is, but sometimes, man, you can be doing something with certain people, and if it ain't taking off or whatever, they don't want to have nothing to do with it. But if it's making millions and billions of dollars, then it's like, oh, that's my baby. Yeah. So I made the call to go ahead and have the other guy that was on board, you know, sign over the URL, the domain names, like give me everything.
So y'all was 100% like legal, like
legit.
Okay.
100% legit. So I was like, give me everything. And so the domain is registered to me. The name is was registered to me, but it still felt like something was missing. Like I didn't want to be foxholed as just the Comic-Con guy, or you know, just the phone guy. So I rebranded and I turned Nerd News into The Curated Culture. And The Curated Culture is basically just a name that I came up with because everything is digital now. Everybody is looking for that next thing. And, you know, whether it's Apple Podcasts or whether it's Spotify or whether it's YouTube, the content that we absorb is all curated for us by somebody else. People are picking and choosing what they want us to read, what they want us to see, what they want us to know, how they share things. That's curation at its finest. And I look at society as a whole now as you know, culture, you know, whether it be technology, whether it be science or politics or sexual health or whatever the case may be, it's all part of our culture. So I am taking the most important parts and bits and pieces from our culture. I'm curating it for you. I'm delivering it right to your doorstep. You don't have to hunt it down. I'm going to show you, the things that are important, the things that are hot, the things that are new.
That's dope, man. That's dope. Which, I'm always a big fan of, and I've always praised you for what you've been able to do. And I thought it was actually kind of dope that you actually integrated your newfound love for sneakers into the fold,
Yes.
I want to talk more about that in a second. So being able to making the transition from nerd news to the curated culture, and it sounds like, and since I know you personally, I know that you always wanted to be known for more than just being a guy who was about just phones or just basic tech. How do you find the balance of managing, because it's like a lot of media that you have going on? How are you managing all of these different topics, and how do you decide what's the most important thing to kind of tackle that week?
It's tough, man. It's because for the longest time I've been a one-man band. We have guest editors from time to time, people that contribute, but for the most part it's all me. So the first thing that helps me out is I need to make sure that I'm aware of genuinely what's hot, and it can't just be what Rob likes, what Robbie Diesel likes, what me personally, what I think is hot, somebody else might think is whack. So I have to really, keep in tune with people like yourself. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You have a much bigger eye in social issues and fashion, especially, than what I do. So I can reach out to you from time to time, or I could check you out on the gram and see what's hot in fashion, and I can lean that way. I can pull from the stuff that you do. I try and follow a lot of influencers on the technology side of things. I try to find up and coming or startup companies that are working on new technologies, and I'll tweet about them, or I'm saying, throw a video up on YouTube about them. Video games, I'm starting to get back into that. It's a lot to keep up with, but it is something that I try my best to keep up with. So to answer your question in short, it's just pulling from a lot of sources, a lot of inspirations, and a lot of influences, and throwing it into this little, gumbo that stews up, and we write about or make videos about, whatever.
Absolutely. So it sounds like you like James Brown of the Prince of the curating world. I'm gonna play a little bit of everything, but that's how it is, man. When you small business owner, man, and mostly everybody who's ever been great. You talk about Gates, you talk about Musk and all these guys, Bezos, like they all started as the one man band. You know what I'm saying? Just the guy that's putting in all the hours, is doing everything from A to Z. That's, opening the store, closing the store, mopping the store, painting the store, putting in the windows, securing the store, sleeping in the store. You're doing everything to maintain it, man. So and this is kind of a funny question. So I'm always really cautious with the term nerd, right? And I'm gonna tell you why. Because from somebody who's outside of I'm a nerd to some degree, but like from the outside looking in, it's like, is the term nerd considered like derogatory? Like, is it like because you got the movie Revenge of the Nerds, which is kind of put like a stigma on it. So saying nerds is cool shit, right? It's not like a bad thing, right?
No, it's very cool. It's very cool shit.
Okay, so it's the cool shit there. I just wanted to check first before I start flying off this nerd handle. Like, how dare you keep calling me nerd? So
no, man, I embrace it.
So being somebody, man, that's from the inner city, that's because we both kind of from similar areas. We from the hood or whatnot. And the hood has very many facets of life in itself. So what is life like growing up in an urban city, or the hood, quote unquote, and being somebody that doesn't gravitate towards the normal things that go on in the hood? Like, how is it being a nerd growing up in the hood? That's really what I want to ask you.
Yeah, it's you know what, man, looking back, it was kind of tough initially, because what I'm saying, back when we was coming up, it wasn't cool, it wasn't normal to be in the comic books or anime and stuff like that. Like, you could be, but if you were, then you kind of had to hang out over in the corner with the 3 or 4 white kids that went to the school, and you can talk to
Right.
them about it.
Yeah.
It wasn't cool to like rock music. It wasn't cool to like floral print, or I'm saying, light brow color or bright loud colors, stuff like that. So it was challenging, but I'm glad that my mom really played a big part in encouraging me, like, be you, like
Mm-hmm.
like what you like. So
Right.
what somebody think is weird that you want to watch Dragon Ball Z.
Right.
So what? You're not out on the corner, you're not
Right.
selling drugs, you're not putting your life at risk every single day. And I genuinely thank God every single day for my mom encouraging me to gravitate towards that stuff, because there was a core group of friends. There was 4 of us, and out of the 4 of us right now, one of them I'm still really, really good friends with, and we talk all the time on Facebook. I actually had him on the podcast, so
Okay.
he would tell anybody. But out of the 4 of us, there's me and there's the other brother that's out. The other 2 are in jail,
Right.
prison for a very long time.
Yeah.
Like, if we're still alive when they get out, it would be a shock. So it was like having mom really encourage me and letting me know that it's okay to like the stuff that I like was a really big deal back then.
Yeah, man, that's huge, man. Like, man, shout out to moms for that, man. Shout out,
Hey,
shout out to Mom Diesel,
yeah,
Mama Diesel, Mama Diesel. But man, this and
hey,
I've met your mom a few times. Man, she's such a sweet lady, man.
sweet as pie,
Um,
yeah.
man, that plays a huge part, man. Is because in the hood is like the place where the social identity crisis starts.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They push onto you identity crisis from the jump to be something that you're not. So unless you're somebody that has that encouragement, it's easy for everybody to kind of gravitate towards like the same stuff. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Which is, and not necessarily always drugs or anything like that, but like, basketball, football. In all reality, everybody doesn't have the same talent. To be honest, if I was probably given a little bit more outlets as a youth, I probably would have did something a little bit different.
Mhm.
Basketball just happens to be there. So
Yeah.
yeah, man, that's huge, man. So what would you say to somebody that's young in the hood that's into, because I know the times are changing now.
Yeah.
So the hood
Big
shit
time.
ain't all what it's cracked up to be. And I think everybody's finally getting that.
Mm-mm.
It's like the lifespan, the longevity, it's just not mapping out the way that it planned. But there's still a lot of kids, man, who struggle with identity based off their environment. What would you say to a kid who's in an environment that doesn't necessarily support who they are as a person, or the things that they like?
Bro, this is one of those things where I tend to go off on a tangent. I get on my soapbox, I stand on it, and I scream loud and proud. I tell my kids this all the time, that it is okay to be unapologetically yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Because at the end of the day, you gotta be home. Your friends are at the crib. They have to do their own thing. You got to be you. It doesn't pay to try to be someone else. You can be inspired by, you can be influenced by, but you have to be yourself, like what
Mm-hmm.
you like. I don't envy the kids that are growing up in today's day and age with all these filters and the Instagram models and having everybody at arm's reach via social media. You know what I'm saying? When we was coming up, we didn't have all this, so we can kind of escape. If
Mm-hmm.
if we had to deal with a bully at school or whatever the case may be, what I'm saying, they wasn't hitting us up on Facebook, they wasn't
Right. That was it.
Instagram. Yeah,
After the
you know what
summer,
I'm
we
saying?
had to see you no more.
No more. And
Yeah.
we could kind of hit that reset button or whatever. But now these kids have 24/7 access to each other. And I feel like that plays a big role in people not being able to be themselves, because there's so many people who are setting the standard for what right looks like and what the perfect body looks like, or what you should be doing with your life. So if I can offer any advice to any of the kids out there, I would say, be comfortable in your own skin, be comfortable being yourself. unapologetically like what you like, because at the end of the day, that's what matters most. What you yourself did, what the impact that you leave or have on somebody else's life might come from you being yourself, being genuine. That is the single most important thing. I live my life every single day by that. I like to be genuine no matter what. If you messing up, I will tell you that. You know what I'm saying? I try and steer people in the right direction, but I also am comfortable walking in my own skin, you know, realizing that I myself am not perfect. So yeah, man, be yourself. Be yourself. Realize that you can't be perfect. Realize that there is no perfection unless it's digital, unless it's made up. It's fairy tale.
You know what? When you say that, it's like me myself, like I gravitate towards a certain type of person now, because the person who society may deem as weird or strange, in reality, a lot of times those are the most free people that you can ever imagine. Mentally free, mentally healthy, because they are doing and being exactly who they are and not trying to be anybody else.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like that's definitely huge, man. And so which this all leads me to my next question. And I'll give you my answer to this first. But my question is,
okay,
what do you think is one of the biggest stigmas about adulthood? I'll give you mine.
Okay.
Having the shit all figured out. Like having it all figured out. Like that's the misconception of like adulthood, is that once you reach a certain threshold, you think as a young person, like, yeah, I'm gonna have it all mapped out. Everything's gonna go that way. And life is like, hold the fuck on. I got some shit for you that you really didn't see, a few curveballs here and there. So I think the pressure and the misconception of like having everything all figured out, when in all reality, we are figuring things out, taking a few steps, figuring things out, taking a few steps. So we're still growing. So what do you think is one of the greatest misconceptions about adulthood?
Just that you are supposed to be or fit into one specific mold, I guess. You know, there's so many different interests and diverse. I'm trying to think of the phrase here. What do I want to say? I guess I'll just say diverse interests. Everybody is into something different. And I think just to bring it back to social media, like, you know, a lot of that kind of creates what you're talking about, that you have to be just so, or you have to be a certain way by a certain age, or, you know, something like that. Like I always, you know, I look at people like Chris Hardwick, for example. Dude is a multi-millionaire with a crazy huge empire. And
is that Talking
was,
Dead?
yeah,
Okay, Chris Hardwick. Yeah.
That brother, when he was, you know, early 20s all the way to mid 30s, was doing nothing. And his career didn't really take off for real. He hosted Singled Out on MTV in his early 20s. And then I forget the name of the show, but it was like a dating show on a cruise ship that he hosted when he was in his 30s. But his career didn't really take off until he was 37 or 38 when he started the Nerdist podcast. Right. And that took off. That is what got Hardwick in front of everybody, you know what I'm saying, in front of you know, the people from The Walking Dead, people from AMC, for him to host Talking Dead, him being a moderator at panels at Comic-Con. It's things like that, man. And I mean, this is probably a bad example, but shit, like somebody like Rihanna. Rihanna, super popular singer, mad talented. When was the last time she dropped an album?
Oh man, it's been a minute. 2010. Right? Yeah, it's been a minute. Yeah,
but she's doing philanthropy stuff, man, and she's got her Savage Fenty line. Like, she don't need to drop an album at all. And she's straight. Jay-Z, Hove, brilliant rapper, brilliant artist. That man increased his net worth 10 times by buying and selling businesses,
Mm-hmm.
investments, stuff like that. So I bring all those people up to say that A, there is no timeline on success, and B, you can be successful on your own terms. Yes, they were successful artists or media personalities or whatever the case may be. They didn't really start getting money like that until they went outside of the norm,
Right.
outside of what they
Right.
became known for.
Absolutely.
So yeah, the idea that you have to fit into a certain mold or be a certain way is the biggest stigma for adulthood to me,
Yeah.
because you might be doing something right now that's not what you're meant to do.
Right. Right. You know, and that brings me to thinking about a clip from Waka Flocka. Like I never listened to Flocka's music ever.
Yeah.
I never listened to his music. Couldn't tell you. Couldn't. I could probably. I don't know what his hit song was,
You don't
but
know one bar.
don't know one bar. But
Yeah.
Walker was talking about. He was like, man, in all reality, I was a whack rapper. This is him saying it. His words.
Wow.
He's like, I was a whack rapper. Was not a good rapper at all. He said, but my realness overcame my whackness. And he said, at a certain time, he said, I realized that I had $30 million in the bank.
Mm-hmm.
And then he said, I realized, like, why the hell am I still rapping? Like, I wanted to be rich from rapping. I got $30 million. I don't need to rap again. I wanted to be rich now that I'm here. Now, my goal is how can I get to $1 billion? How can I get into business? And how can I be active investing and things like that? So the transition of and growth of the path that you think you're going to take, you know what I'm saying? It goes one way, then it spears off to a completely different thing. You know what I'm
No
saying?
doubt.
And I think it's the beauty, since we're talking about artists, like that's the beauty of artistry, is that it's so much more than just one thing.
Mm-hmm.
You know, somebody may start off as a rapper, but what people don't understand is that as a rapper, as an artist in general, you're not limited to just one style of art.
Mm-hmm.
So the transition a lot of times, and that's why you see so many actors that can transition. I mean, so many rappers that can transition into actors
Yeah.
so seamlessly, simply because the artistry is just something that's just in you, you know. One of my favorite rapper actors of all time, I would say, is Most Def.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely, probably Most Def. He's one of my
Oh,
top. Like
for
he's one
sure.
brilliant actor, brilliant
Mm-hmm.
actor. And then I would say, like, I thought DMX was decent as well too.
Yeah.
Rest in peace, X.
Rest in
Uh,
peace. Dogman X.
Dogman X.
Darkman
Um,
X.
I'm trying to think who else. Who else
You
was
know
a
what? Can
really
I?
good?
I'm gonna throw a
Give me
new
another
name
one.
out there. Yeah. I have a new name for you. I have come to appreciate this gentleman so much.
Who's that?
Looking back at where he started and where he's at right now,
Uh-huh.
Donald Glover.
Oh, I don't, dog.
Donald Glover.
Yeah.
Man, that like
Artistry, that's artistry to a T. Like
mm-hmm.
that's what artistry looks like.
Yeah.
That's what artistry look. But go ahead.
He was the first. I'll keep it short. He was the first name that popped into my mind as soon as you start talking about the beauty of artistry, because my man started as like a part-time actor. He was a stand-up comic. Like he hit one of his specials legit is on Netflix right now.
He was a stand-up comic?
Yes.
Oh,
His
shit.
he has a
Wow.
special on Netflix called Weirdo, I believe. So
Wow,
he
that's
did that.
crazy.
He was on Community, which was a show on NBC. And then from Community, he went into the music industry. He had his rap career as Childish Gambino.
Yeah.
That blew up for him. Then he went back and started doing a little more acting. That took off for him. Then he started writing and wrote Atlanta with his brother, which is one of the most fire shows of all time.
It is.
Brother,
Three
brother
seasons
was
in? 3 seasons?
The third season is coming back in March, I believe.
It's a dope show.
It is
real
great.
quick. If you guys haven't seen Atlanta on FX, Atlanta is a great show. You want to talk about comedy? Like, this is the purest form of hood comedy that you can ever imagine. They captured it to a T. Man, it's a brilliant show. I can't wait for it to come back. I saw you tweeted that out. Did you tweet it? Was it a tweet?
I did. I
I
threw it
meant to send
everywhere,
you a
bro.
message
I
like,
put it.
oh shit, it's
I
about
put it
to
on
go down.
Instagram. I tweeted it,
Yeah.
but yeah, bro,
Yeah.
it's good with on the comedy aspect, but a lot of people sleep on the serious social undertones to it too, man. Like if you go back and you watch that FUBU episode, like that was us.
It was a great episode.
Bro, that was a fantastic episode. So yeah, man, I had to shout out Donald Glover if we're talking about the beauty of artistry for sure.
Yeah. I'll say this real quick. One of my favorite episodes on there was obviously Alligator Man.
Yeah.
Hilarious.
Yeah.
And one that I found the acting to be brilliant was it Teddy? Was it Teddy?
Oh yeah, that was a creepy episode. Yes.
Creepy episode. And I didn't find out till later, and you told me, you said no, that was Donald Glover.
That was Donald Glover in the
mind
makeup.
Blown. I'm like, man, this guy, man. And not to even, honorable mention my boy Stanfield. First name Lakeith Stanfield.
Yep.
Great actor. Great.
He's another one that actor, I would put in there.
Great actor. He is. I know that, and I don't want to talk about how I feel about the Oscars, but as far as accolades and achievements, he's definitely one of the guys that's going to have a lot of awards.
Absolutely.
30 years from now. Him and what's the guy's name from
Jonathan Majors?
You already know who I'm talking about.
Yeah, I already knew it.
I was gonna say The Last Black Man in San Francisco.
Yeah, I still gotta watch that.
You ain't watched it yet? That was one of the that's the first movie that I've seen with him in it, and I was like, this bro is like a dope actor, because it's like a small indie film. I love indie films. I feel like they got the best actors, and I'm like, man, this dude is talented. Fantastic actor. Absolutely fantastic actor. But since we're talking about shows, I got a question for you.
Sure.
So what's a show that you secretly watch that most people will find shocking? Because I feel like we all have like our hidden shows that we watch that many people don't know about. Like we got the shows that everybody talk about.
Yeah.
And then you got the shows that nobody talks about. You just kind of watch it and you just kind of secretly enjoy it. What's your show that you watch that the hood would not deem socially acceptable?
Oh man, that the hood. See, you gotta understand, bro. Like for me, if I were to say, and the people that know me know this is true, but pretty much any show that I'm like, yo, you should probably check this out, they would be like, that's Rob.
Yeah. He gave me one and I looked at you and I was like, huh?
Yeah.
I was like, I don't know, man. Like, I don't know about that one. I'll try it. And I think I got like 3 episodes in and I jumped off the cliff.
Oh yeah. That's my rule. Any suggestions that I levy, I always tell people 3 episodes.
Yeah, 3 episodes, and I was like, I'm out of here.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of one that would be like a shocker, but I really truly can't. Like
one that you gave. Here's one that you gave me, and I was like, "What the hell are you talking about?"
Right.
It was Doctor Who.
Oh yeah,
said, what the hell is a Doctor Who?
Yeah.
He's like, man, I'm telling you, man, it's a great show. Like you like it. They just rebooted the new series. I'm like, how many seasons is it? How many seasons are they up to?
Several. So they're on the 13th Doctor, but each Doctor is played by a different actor.
Too many people, too many series. And I was just like, yeah, I don't really know about this Doctor Who.
Yeah,
One that I've been watching for and I'm fascinated with like British shows. Like I just feel like I really like British shows. Like I watched Luther,
which is great,
which is a good show. One of my secret favorites is Sex Education. I'll just say it. Sorry. Okay. I just say it. I don't know if you keep
scrolling past that on Netflix.
I don't know if you ever seen it, but it's a shit show. I just find it funny. I find it funny. I May Destroy You. I can't think of the girl's name, but it's an HBO show.
It's
called, you know what I'm talking about? I can't think of her name, but she's a great actress as well. So yeah, I love my British shows. Oh, and Big Mouth. on Netflix.
Oh, Big Mouth is hilarious.
Big Mouth is absolutely
Big
hilarious,
Mouth is
dude. Absolutely fucking hilarious,
yeah.
bro. When I was the first time I watched it, I said, man, what the hell is going on here? The hormone monster and all that, man. It just was like, oh gosh, this is.
We all live through it though, bro.
Man,
like,
we all live. It is definitely relatable.
No matter how you feel about it, like you've been in those situations before, for sure.
It's definitely relatable.
I don't know, man. I don't really have a eyeball show. I guess if I had to throw anything out there, man, it would be just like, and it's not any one thing, it's just the insane amount of anime that I still watch as a 36-year-old adult man.
Really?
I still watch a ton of anime, man.
Bro, I can't outside of Afro Samurai and like Dragon Ball Z, I really couldn't I've tried a few of the other ones and I just couldn't really get into them. There's a new Netflix one that's out that's pretty cool. You know what I'm talking about?
I forget the name of it, but I know what you're talking about. I watched that one too, because it's got a black samurai. It's Ya something. Hold on.
I don't know if it's a Ya. I think it's like it starts with an A. Hold on, let me see.
Oh, is it the anime about the samurai?
Dude, I haven't seen any samurai. Let me see.
If you haven't watched this, and I hope Yasuke.
No, it's not Yasuke. I know it's not.
Did you watch that one?
I never heard of it.
You need to watch Yasuke. I'm gonna give you 2 reasons. Okay, I'm gonna sell it to you. This is my elevator pitch. Yasuke is a story about the only black samurai in Japan, and he is voiced by Lakeith Stanfield.
Okay, you got me right there.
You sold it.
You just had to say Lakeith Stanfield. Yeah, you got me right there. It's called what is the name of this? Arcane.
Oh yeah, I keep hearing about that too. I got to check that out.
It's actually pretty cool. And you said the one that, yeah, it's actually a really cool show. It's a sci-fi-ish and shit. Kind of like you got your standard civilized life above ground. You got the underground people. Whole divide between 2 different parties: rich people, poor people. That whole thing. But it's a cool show. It's one of them shows that you wouldn't know that I watched just looking at me.
I have to check it out.
Hearing how crazy I am. So
no doubt.
So man, like we getting older.
Yeah.
And so have our kids.
Unfortunately.
Have you had
fortunately.
Have you had to talk with your son about girls yet?
Oh yeah. We had to kind of have that talk a little bit early. And I do say this, unfortunately, man. One of his homeboys was we let him have company, have play dates and all that fun stuff. And one of his homeboys one day was talking about doing or somebody was getting a BJ, and then he was like super curious about that. So Maria took the first swing at it, because she was actually there. I wasn't there at the time. I was at work. But she kind of took the first at bat at that one, and then just periodically over time we have to throw out the the talks and stuff like that. But as he's getting older, you know what I'm saying, you got to have those more serious talks about it too, because teenage life is coming aboard, and it's Big Mouth all over again.
Yeah, it's weird because, and it's weird for me because it's like, damn, like there's no real like blueprint to this. I mean, you can try, but you're like, I'm talking to this child who I've raised, who I've watched grow from shitting in diapers to, playing their first sport to getting their first phone. And you're like, how do I talk to you about girls? So I'll tell you the story real quick. So, my oldest, right? Just 11. Yeah. So so last day of school, they have like a dance. They have like a dance get together, kind of like a celebration of, end of the year. Let's get together. And my son dresses to a T. Like he's like polka dot tie. I mean, I seen you the picture. Fresh as all get out.
I wonder where he gets that from.
It almost, a tear almost formed and rolled down, and it touched my soul. And I was like, man, you look so good, man. He's like, Dad, and look, the red bottoms, and he's showing me his little red bottom, just some little red bottom shoes. He like
What?
the bottoms are red, and he had like all these rhinestones on his shoes. And then I'm like, step back for the camera, and he's like, oh yeah. I said, and you ain't got the no socks on too? Oh my god. So after school, hit him up. So man, tell me how'd it go? How was it dance? Did you dance? What did y'all do? He's like, nah, we kind of hung out, we ate and we talked. And he's like, oh, and I got a girl's number. So, I'm immediately like, I don't know whether to be defensive. I don't know whether to like, it's like a rush of like different emotions and feelings. You're like, no, she better be a good girl, all of this stuff. And, I'm getting defensive and I don't know how to feel. And I'm like, you got a number. So I'm like, okay. So I wait till I see you and we have a conversation about this whole number thing. I'm like, so tell me, man, like, how did it go? Like, how did you get a number? He's like, well, and we was talking and I was like, she was like, yeah, and we were friends, and she just asked me for my number, and I was like, okay, I take your number. And I was like, okay, how old is she? It's like, well, she's in 8th grade. I said, oh, she's an upperclassman too.
Oh, wow.
Oh, hey man, it's just so many different things, man, that I feel when I just think about it, man, because it's like, I want to prepare him for this phase of his life, but I also want him to know that it's really not that serious. Don't put too much stock in it. I still want you to be a kid and be free. And I think the problem is, man, is with youth is that they are bombarded with relationships and love at such an early age when it's not even a non-factor in their life. But at the same time, I don't want to come off like the grumpy dad that's like gonna ruin everything to make everything all about, oh, you got to be all serious, dad. At the same time, I'm like, cool. But I'm like, here's the one thing you got to know: respect boundaries. Don't touch her. If to be real with you, I would say fist bump. Like we ain't even hugging. We ain't hugging. We fist bumping because it's just as black boys, man. Like you worry about that. Like I worry about it. I'm like nervous for him. I'm like, bro, like keep your hands to yourself. Be respectful. Treat her like one of the bros, but focus on being a kid. So has your son expressed interest in getting to know a girl? Has a girl hit him up? Has any girlfriends at all?
Yeah, he has you know what, man?
He ain't gonna tell you about it like that.
No, he does though. That's
really
that's the thing. That's the real cool thing. And I'm ashamed to say that my son has had, I think, 2, maybe 3 girlfriends this year so far.
Damn.
It's just
Shout out to Junior.
Shout
out to Junior. He out here. So what's going on with the breakups, man? Is he like,
you know what, man? It's the whole. I feel like I'm like bitter grandpa, like these damn kids and their iPhones. But it's what I'm saying, it's like social media stuff, bro. Like they're good, and but at the same time, I say it's social media, but it is in essence little micro versions of what we go through and what we experience in relationships as adults. And 1 minute everything is good and honky-dory, and then the next minute somebody is mad because somebody that they don't like commented on a snap that was posted or a TikTok, really? And then it's like you got to explain yourself, and then they're not talking. And then somebody else is like, oh, I like you, you like me, and then it's like heart eye emojis and they're good, and then somebody else is like, why are you talking to him? Why are you talking to her?
Beefed out already.
Yeah, bro. It's little micro versions of what we experience as adults. And I say that because it's funny, because I know of relationships that have been ended because it's like, bro, you have to stop putting those heart eye emojis underneath these Instagram models pictures. Like,
with
you
adults.
Can't,
yeah, like,
yes, like you can't
adults.
do that.
Adults aren't getting this right. Yeah. So
Yeah,
I
man.
guess we can lay the groundwork to our sons, like, bro, like, listen, social media is the worst place to display anything about your relationship at all.
Mm-hmm.
Allow that to be private. And you already have a whole different segment. You got adults who can't get this shit right.
Yeah.
You got adults who can't get it right with the business and being private and um not displaying too much. And it's crazy
Yeah.
that you talk about 6th and 7th grade and they already having issues with like, who's this?
Right.
Why does she like your post? You like,
Right.
I
I don't
don't
know who
know.
that is. Yeah.
Baby,
Like
you in
I
math
don't
class,
know
baby.
no,
I don't know who that is.
I don't know no Keisha.
I don't know who this crazy girl is. I don't know who she is. You at
Yeah,
school
man.
and they already, it's the fascination with love is, it's not a bad thing. It just has to kind of be regulated. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
With adults the best way that it can.
Don't you think that goes back into, what you were talking about earlier, though? Like the biggest misconception about adulthood is being that you think that you have to have it all figured out. And
Yep.
because of the fact that, kids now, again, are exposed to a lot more stuff a lot sooner than what we were exposed to it when we were exposed to it.
Mm-hmm.
Don't you think that that plays a role in
It
these
definitely
sorts of
does.
things? Because
It definitely does. Yeah, you're right. It definitely does, man. It just makes everything so challenging, and I worry for, not like I'm worried in a terror type sense, but like you kind of get concerned because we didn't have those things.
oh,
I remember, like, if you didn't get a girl's number before the school year was over, that was it. You won't go see her again until next year. There was
never.
no, maybe y'all seen each other at Kroger's or something like that, or y'all went to the same camp for whatever reason. But outside of that, if you didn't holler, you had to holler. It was take advantage of the opportunity. There was sliding. There was no slide. I know we dating ourselves right now, but there's no sliding in the DMs. But
Nah.
given this social age and access to information and access to people, it can be very messy out there. It can
Yeah.
be very, very, especially with like the bullying. Like, our bullies was face to face. You know
No
what I'm
doubt.
saying? It was a different dynamic of bullying. It was like, okay,
Yeah.
well, you deal with the bully Monday through Friday, whatever. You didn't really see him on the weekend. But
Mm-hmm.
now you have people that have bullies that are being bullied that have like fucking Snapchat pages, and they find
Right.
out your Snapchat page and they like terrorizing you online. They
Mm-hmm.
spread memes, and shit spreads fast, man. Like
It
it spreads
does.
fast. So
It does. And it's we pass the point now because kids themselves are so technologically advanced, and
Mhm.
everything is a circle
It
infinitely,
is.
right? Everything all feeds into itself. So through social media, through the media that we all consume, whether it be TV shows or whatever the case may be, you know what I'm saying? Like these habits and these scenarios are being picked up. So it's not as simple as back, during the initial onset of social media, where it's like, okay, you don't like this person, just block them.
Right.
Okay, you block them. Well, you block one person, but they got 4 or 5 burner accounts, and they still coming
It's
at you. And
ridiculous.
that's the stuff that our kids are exposed to, unfortunately, and that's the age that they have to live in addition to
Right.
being studious at school and
Right.
worrying about sports and things like that, and in
Yeah.
addition to keeping up with their social circle, and in addition to
Yeah.
whatever else that they see. It's like, it's growing up now as a kid now is so incredibly hard.
Yeah. It's definitely challenging. It's definitely challenging. I mean, and to see, your offspring kind of go through the transition to where they're becoming more image conscious,
Mm-hmm.
like how I look, how I smell. My son wanted some Versace cologne for Christmas, right?
Yeah.
Don't even
That,
so, and he got some, he wanted some cologne for his birthday a few months ago too. So
yeah.
he's into smelling good. So
Mm-hmm.
I like to be the supportive dad. Like, bro, like, I know how important it is to smell good. I'm like, bro, like, let's make it happen. Like it's kind of mind
Yeah.
blowing. Like, an 11-year-old fucking Versace cologne. Like, you can
Right.
imagine getting your backpack ready in the morning and you just like
Yeah.
you smelling as expensive as the principal. So It's a different time, man.
And you super loud because you don't know exactly how much is too much at that
Don't
age.
know, you 14 14 pops in. So I'm like, I couldn't let him go like I did. You know, the Axe body spray was the best that we had.
Yeah.
I don't know if your mom was friends with like the Avon lady, but my mom had like an Avon lady who was like her best friend. So we got like the Avon book that had like the Jupe cologne in it. You remember Jupe?
I do.
in the purple container.
I do, yeah.
Shit smells straight like kerosene, son.
Oh, bro. Listen, and I'm gonna do you one better. My mom was not friends with the Avon lady. My mom was the Avon lady.
No,
so
man. Oh my god, yeah,
man. Yeah.
So you had the whole like cologne, the terrible cologne lineup.
Bro, I had
Juke
the whole
was one.
I had the whole bath kit, bro.
Really? The soap and all?
Man.
The soap on the rope? Oh my gosh.
I was number one in the hood with the the body wash.
I have never smelt a good Avon cologne in my life.
You never will. You never will.
It's fucking awful.
Yeah.
Oh shit. My mom used to like the Avon lady used to pop up, man. And she used to bring a new book. My mom like, oh, Avon lady here. I used to grab the book and flick through it and be like, man, let me see if there's anything new. You get to the same section 10 years later. It's the same shit from 4 years ago. Yeah, man, that was a good times, man.
Yeah, bro.
Yep. Yeah, that's funny as hell, man. That's funny as hell, man. A damn Avon lady.
I want to ask you something because I love listening to this show. I love watching this show. One of my favorite things about it. Absolutely. I'm gonna support you no matter what. One of my favorite things about it, man, is your ability to kind of tackle, you know, the stuff that a lot of people don't really want to talk about. And I know we in the same boat, you know, in terms of being parents of, you know, semi biracial kids, things like that. Right. So, or biracial kids, there's no real semi to it. Do you have, so I have this concern, right? Like, you know, Junior's mom's white, Maria, I'm black. When he's a kid, you know what I'm saying, people smaller, at least, people notice that they take that into consideration. But as he gets older, you know, they're only going to pay attention to my side of Junior. You know what I'm saying? Like that's the only thing that people are going to see. Do you have that same concern with your kids coming up? Like have you had that talk with them? Not necessarily the birds and the bees, but like, yo, you could be put into some really dangerous situations because of this color of your skin as you get older.
I have. It's kind of like a really interesting space because with them being, they're a little older now, but with them understanding color or understanding race is a little different because, you know, my older boys, you know, mom biracial or whatnot. So with her being biracial, they see a strong white side. So when they were younger, you know, you would hear, oh, from them, like, oh, those are, the black kids over there. And I'm like, what do you mean like black? It was in the sense of like they were separate from what was going on over there. I'm like, bro, like you are the black kid. And so, you know, and having this talk with my boys one day on the way home was, you know, listen, man, I want you boys to understand that there's some people that are going to treat you differently based off of how you look. You are a black kid, you're a black boy, and the world will see you as a black boy. I know that you're around different family members and things like that who may be non-black or whatever, but the world will see you as a black man. Yeah. And the same thing that goes with my little guy. So he's like, he kind of the same thing. Like I can introduce him to one of my homies or one of my friends. He's like, oh, dad, they're black like you. What do you mean? Like, they're black like you, dad. Like, yeah, they're black like you. Yeah, I'm brown. You know, it's just trying to understand the realms of color and race. And, you know, and I'm still figuring that thing out. You know what I mean? Like, all in all, like, your dad black. Your dad is from the hood. Like, your dad can, you know, your dad identifies with a completely different side than maybe you do. You know what I'm saying? Being a child in the middle who kind of sees both sides. Like,
Right.
I see my dad, so my image of what a black male is my dad. You know what I'm saying? And my image of what, you know, white people are and is from my mom or from whoever. You know what I'm saying? So it's I'm kind of concerned for him in a way, but in a way I'm not. With us living where we live, you know, it's kind of diverse, but it's not like, you know, out west or New York where everybody's mixed with everything and it's just so much stuff. So yeah, I kind of got a little bit of concern, but I more so than anything, I want them to understand that the world will see you as a black man. True, your DNA speaks that you have both, but the world will see you as a black man and they will identify you as a black man just because of, you know, there's no in between, there's really no sides. You just black. That's just what it is. And wanting them to know, man, you know, you always had this hope for your kids. You always want to pour more into them than you can at one time. So sometimes you feel like, oh, I just want to give you all this information, all this game, and just to bring you up on speed of how life is and how the reality of what the world is. That's a huge concern of mine, knowing that, like, you know, we got black kids, knowing that the world's gonna see them as black kids, knowing that they have to conduct themselves a certain way. And in all reality, like, our kids are privileged. You know what I'm saying? Like, they are privileged.
For sure.
Very fucking privileged. Like, it's not the same, like, shit. Like, my kids don't know what it is to catch a bus. Like, dude,
no.
Daddy caught the RTA for a long time. I was catching the bus at 11 and 12, 10, 11, 12, like solo. You know what I'm saying? So it's really a different time, man. But I just want them to be good men. I just want them to be good people. Who care about others, who care about people who look like them, who, even though you don't always come from the background that your dad comes from, exactly. So some things you can't identify with, but you're still a black man who still has a responsibility to the culture, to just being upstanding. You know what I'm saying? I guess that's what I'm trying to say. It's like, I just want them to be prepared for life, man. Like, I'm worried about that, but in a sense, like, I just want them to be good people, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, just be a decent person and stand up for your fucking self. Like, don't allow people to, you know, treat you however. Speak your mind. I think speaking your mind is very important. Which leads me to something else that I kind of wanted to talk to you about is that what we were taught as kids to shut up and just mind. Like, at least when I was growing up, I can't necessarily speak for your house, but my house was like, you can sit your ass down and don't talk back, don't say nothing.
It's more what it is.
It's more the same. Okay, so I strongly believe that kids should have a voice, not in an ignorant way, but they should be allowed to express themselves, because a lot of times, us being men, not giving your child a platform to be able to speak their minds or to speak how they feel really affects them as men coming up.
No doubt.
Because as men, you know, coming where we come from, you're not taught to express your emotions. And I talked about this a lot on my last episode, but you're not encouraged to express your emotions. You're not encouraged to talk about it. But being young kids, I think that it's important that you encourage them to talk about how they feel and try to translate it the best that they can. Because me growing up, it was it was sit your ass down, don't say a word, I don't care, you better not talk back, just do what I say, and that's that. So after so many years of doing that, you just kind of be used to, like, well, you ain't trying to hear me anyway, you just gonna tell me to shut the hell up. And now that shit translates into adulthood, and now we can't express how we fucking feel. So now we're reactionary, and just because we can't vocalize what it is that we feel. So I believe it's important that kids, not to the point to where you disrespecting your parents and no shit like that, get your ass whooped. But don't get it misconstrued. You can still get your ass whooped, but just giving them a voice, man. Like, they people too. And I it's like a fucking bad stigma, man, of being black and being told, like, shut up, don't say anything, don't have a voice. It is what it is.
It is. It really is. And I 100% agree with that. I have conversations with my one of my older brothers all the time, man, and we kind of reminisce about growing up, and we identify. I hate sometimes I hate, saying the word traumas, but I mean it's true.
Hmm.
Sometimes you can identify traumas that are caused by stuff that happened in your childhood, like,
Right.
what I'm saying, being told sit down, shut up, like, what I'm
Yeah.
saying, like, mind your business, don't say anything. One of the big things that went on, like, in our house, that I had to kind of correct myself with as a parent is, like, if mom made some food, and it could be the best food in the world, but
Hmm.
hypothetically you didn't like it,
Right.
right? So if it was something you didn't like, moms would be like, all right, well, that's what I made. So you either eat
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
eat
That's
it
what it
or
is.
you gonna starve.
Maybe
You
you
know what
ain't
I'm
hungry
saying?
enough. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I learned that even something like that, what I'm saying, it's a very simple thing in learning that kids sometimes can be picky eaters, and
Yeah.
that's okay. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like, it's
Yeah.
not cool necessarily to force or try to
Yeah.
force somebody to eat something if they genuinely don't like it. Like, they
Yeah.
might just not like it. So that was one of those things that I had to overstep. Um, or overcorrect, I'm sorry. But also, allowing my kids to be able to vocalize their thoughts without feeling disrespect, because
Right.
even as a man, I have to understand whether it's you or whether it's my wife or my boss or somebody in everyday life. Just because somebody says something that I don't agree with, it doesn't mean that it's an attack on
Hmm.
me.
Correct.
So those are all things that I have to learn to, and bring that into parenting, and allow my kids to be able to speak their mind, but also, finding that balance, like you were saying. You can't really toe that line of disrespect. there's
Hmm.
there's a there's a
Yeah.
big difference there too. So, and thankfully, man, I was blessed with some of the most mellow kids in the world, bro. Like, for the most part, they turn out super good. They all super mellow, chill. They
Hmm.
just want to play video games and hang out with their friends, and relax and watch anime. And
And just chill. Yeah.
that's all I can
That's just
ask
what it
for,
is.
man.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's dope, man. Like I deal with it now. And like you're saying, like giving your kids a voice to express what it is that they like and they don't like and dislike. Um, my 4-year-old, he believes that peanut butter and jelly is like the fucking best food on the
Yeah.
planet. And
It
it'll
might as well
be
be filet mignon.
it's man, oh my gosh. Like, and I'll make some stuff and I'm like, well, what do you want to eat? Um, peanut butter jelly. And I'm like, dude, you've had like 15 this week. Like,
Right.
there's other foods available. So in picking your battles as a parent, like, is some shit really a big deal? It's like, okay, well, you don't want to send them to bed hungry,
Hmm.
right? At the same time, it's like I don't want to see you to bed hungry, but at the same time, like I want you to be able to. So I'm having that battle right now. It's like, fuck, like this has to be the last child. This has to be the last child. This is it.
Yeah.
I'm not cut out for anymore because I'm gonna start body
Nah.
slamming little, you
Yeah.
know, it is what it is. But man, uh I love fatherhood, man. It's fun, it's challenging, it's scary, it's everything all in once. Um,
It's everything we were told it was going to be,
yeah,
right?
that's for sure.
I know my mom warned me about it. Like, everything you give me, your kids is going to give back to you 10 times over. And I'm
Yeah.
like, man. And then I see my son sometimes, and my daughter, I see them sometimes, like, they do things, and it's like, dang, mom was
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Dang.
Mom was
And
right. It was exactly right.
yeah,
It's exactly right. Yeah.
yeah.
It's different, man. But I love it, man. You got one more kid on you, or you done?
No, I think I'm toast. I'm out of there.
You get a dog? Did you get a dog yet? Y'all got a dog?
Not yet, man.
You get a
We
dog yet?
can't really rock with pets all that much, because Maria has super bad allergies.
Oh, okay.
She's been talking about getting a dog a lot more lately, so we'll see how it goes. I wouldn't mind it, but it's like,
Yeah, yeah. Dog over a damn
one
kid.
mouth to
Shit.
feed. Yeah,
Yeah, but this one I can just tell, go sit the hell down and shut up.
right.
I ain't get out of my face. It is what it is, and I get hit
Yeah.
with that all the time. Because I don't know why people see me and think like, oh, you have all boys.
Hmm.
Don't you want a girl? And I'm like, bro. You fuck about all that shit.
Yeah,
I don't
listen.
care about all that shit, man. I can care less. At this
I'm gonna
point,
scare you away from daughters in general. The one thing that I realized this year, and it frightens the ever living hell out of me. My daughter in February will be 17.
Damn, that went by fast.
Yeah,
17, yo,
17.
Man, shit.
I will send you a picture after we get done here.
Scary, son.
We started practicing driving and everything. You know, she a little late to the party with the driving thing, but I'm okay with that. I'm all right. But like, she's driving now, bro. She got an ID. It's like, man,
scary.
It's getting real. Yeah.
So you're looking at colleges and everything now too. Oh
yeah,
my
we
gosh,
didn't have that talk, the college talk. What you gonna do with your life afterwards, bro? And it's mad humbling though. It's mad humbling because you start to see that infinite circle that is life happening. You know what I'm saying? I can remember having these same talks with my mom, my older brother, you know, about colleges and life, and honestly conversations that I'm still having, like, yo, figuring out exactly what it is that you want to do, you know, and it's not as important early on to know 100% what you want to do in life, because again, you might get into something and you think it's the right thing, but it might not be your thing, you know. So yeah, man, just having all those conversations and all that I had to bring that up though, like, you know, since we're on the subject.
That's crazy, man. It just that happened overnight. Last time I remember, it was like 11 or something like that. That was, man, damn, that happened fast. But and to piggyback off what you're saying, I know we've been talking about this the whole time, but like being prepared for life and that pressure at that age, it's almost like it's almost too much. It's unrealistic. It's like you got fucking adults that at 50 years old don't know what the hell they want to do. That, you know what I'm saying? Or they're still trying to figure this thing out. So my message is like, man, and that's why I don't want my sons to get wrapped up in this whole love thing, you know, whole girlfriend thing. It's like, bro, I would rather you come to me and like, Dad, I want to go to Guam. I want to go here. I want to go there. I want to do these things. I want to see this. I want to see that. Like, get out, explore life, try new things, go new places while you have no major responsibilities. You want to move to I don't know, San Diego and try out the West Coast for a few months to figure out how that life is, then I'm definitely all for it. I don't want them to be locked in a box of this is what life is. You go to school, you get a job. You go to school, you get a job. You go to school. I don't want them. I want them to be able to explore life or have minds that say, I want to live in China for a year. Like, whatever. Like, I want you to get all of the experiences you can before you're in a situation where life is kind of slowing down a little bit because you have other responsibilities, you know, kids and, you know, spouse and other things like that, man. But like, my boys are locked into this like sports phase, which is cool. Like, you know, everybody, the sports phase, like, and you know, my son asks me all the time, he's like, Dad, what college do you think I should go to? And I'm like, well, you know,
it ain't that easy, son.
I know it ain't that easy. There's a lot of things that go into it. But one thing that I'm happy for now is that, you know, college athletes can get paid before, you know, they can get paid a nice handsome, you know, salary. But I'm trying to ingrain into my oldest mainly, like, bro, like, basketball is cool, football is cool, but there's a lot of other things. And I talked to him the other day about not Maverick Carter, but what's LeBron's rich, what is his name? I can't think of. I don't know why I can't think of.
You the local.
I know.
LeBron
I'm supposed to know.
expert,
Yeah,
bro. You supposed to know all this.
Gosh, Lee, I can't think of his name. It's not Maverick Carter, but it's whoever the guy is that start Clutch Sports. He's married. His girlfriend is Adele. I don't know why his name is losing me right now. But anyway, he runs a sporting agency, right? And he's like, you know, he manages pretty much the careers of, you know, like Anthony Davis, Draymond Green. Rich Paul is his name. Clutch Sports.
Okay.
Rich Paul. And I'm like, yo, like, man, like, even though you may not be a top-notch athlete, there's still ways for you to be a force in the industry. The industry has a huge shortage of black, you know what I mean, like agents that are like making things happen for these athletes. And I think because basketball is such a black dominated sport, just like football is as well too.
Yeah.
There's a huge shortage of, you know, you don't see a lot of like black agents. So I'm like, bro, like there's other ways that you can still be around the game, still be next to the athlete, still make tons of money without being, you know, the star of the show. So
right.
Just trying to show different avenues, like, bro, like don't give up on what it is that you want to achieve.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm letting you know that I'm not trying to give you a plan B.
Yeah.
But I'm letting you know that there are many pieces on the board that you can play if the one doesn't work out. So
because that's super important.
It's very important. It's very important, man. And you know, in the TikTok videos and all the basketball videos, and I mean, how can you not want to, like, all the highlights that I had growing up was ESPN. If the shit didn't happen on ESPN,
you didn't see it.
Yeah, you wouldn't go see it until And One dropped, and then the mixtape came out. And I'm dating myself, man, but And One kind of changed the whole street ball. That's a whole different thing. But just knowing that I want more for them, man, for sure, man, definitely.
Man, Rob, you doing the same thing that my mom did for me, man. You're stoking their curiosity, but also at the same time encouraging them to follow their own path, and that's important.
Absolutely. It's definitely important, man. Well, bro, listen, man, I really appreciate you taking this time out of your busy life.
Yeah.
Rob Diesel, Curated Culture, man. Go on here. Give me a shout out. We're gonna go ahead and I appreciate you, bro. This is
anytime, bro.
I love having these conversations, man. And I'm sorry, it's been a long time since we don't really got together, man. I don't really eat chicken wings no more, but we can still go to B-Dubs and
we
get together, man.
We need to do a part 2, and because I know too that you probably had a whole bunch more stuff that you wanted to talk about.
I do,
but that's what happens when we get together. We catch up, and it can be the most serious stuff that we want to talk about, but we always go off on a tangent because I myself still want to talk about the Bull session. What happened?
See.
Why
we got to talk about, but you know what? I was thinking about the other day, and I was like, man, I was telling my homegirl, I was like, yo, like we tried to, and to be honest, we probably should have just did it in podcast format because it probably really should have just did it in podcast format because it would have been a lot less pressure. We didn't have to be in the same location.
Yep.
Us being techie, not using our brains.
We overthought it. We'll save that one for the next one. That gives you a reason there to have me on again.
Once again, man, I want y'all to look at my man's at Robbie Diesel on all the socials, at the Curated Culture. Is that the right one? Is it at
at the Curated Culture, Facebook and Instagram, at _Curated Culture on Twitter.
On the Twitter. It's too much for me to manage, man. I'm really thinking about dropping Twitter.
Low key, humble brag. If you throw in the Curated Culture on Google, I'm the first thing that pops up.
Really? Look at you, fan. Okay. Shout out.
Hey. That's my excitement shimmy.
Hey, we're going to go ahead and give you a bunch of gunshots on that one. Hey, but man, I really appreciate you taking this time, dog.
Anytime, man.
Your time is really valuable, man. Y'all need to go look at my boys. Check out all his socials, man. Support him. If you really want to get all the up-to-date news as to what's happening in the world, culture, sneakers, tech, the whole thing, man. Like my boy actually provides all of the information for you. He is a great writer, one of the best writers that I know. And the place that I go whenever I need some information on things that I just don't understand in the tech world. So man, shout out again to my boy Robbie Diesel, man. Hey, thank y'all for listening to Punchline Podcast. We will do this again very soon, man. I appreciate your time, man. Y'all take care. Have a great rest of the week. Peace.